Hello students, in the last two lectures of gravitation, we discussed about the formula and the few points related to the theory of gravitation. Today, we will do some MCQ related to that topic. You can download the file from the description of the video. The first question or the first MCQ given is a mass capital M splits into two parts, small m and m minus m, which are then separated by a certain distance. What is the ratio of small m upon capital M? Maximize the gravitational force between the parts. So in this question, we have a body whose mass is capital M, that is given. You have to split this body into two parts. So when these two parts are kept at a certain distance, the force between them becomes maximum. Now we don't know what should be the fraction of division. Either the body should be divided in the ratio of half, or it can be divided in the ratio of 1/4, 3/4, or 3/4, 1/4, any ratio. It can be any ratio. We don't know the ratio. It can be 5/4, 2/4, 3/4, 3/5, 2/5, any ratio. It should be divided in such a way that if that two parts are kept at certain distance, the force becomes maximum. It is given. So let us assume that this body is divided into two parts. Suppose this is one part having mass small m. Then the another part should have a mass m minus m. Now these two parts are kept at a distance d. So if we take this small m as a variable, capital M is given, so it is a constant term. Now if we divide this into two parts, one of the part is taken as small m, then other part should be m minus n. Now the gravitational force between them is F is equal to G m minus m upon d square. Now we have to learn an important property of mathematics where it says that if any physical quantity or if any function is maximum or minimum, then its first derivative with respect to the variable should be equal to 0. So if f has to be maximum, its first derivative with respect to the variable. Now capital M is constant given, so variable is small m. For example, if capital M is 5 kg, if I take small m 1 kg, this part is 4 kg. If I take this as 2 kg, this part is 3 kg. So what is the variable here? We assume, or here the small m is variable. So the mathematics property is if any physical quantity, because we are dealing with the physics, we are writing in the terms of a physical quantity. If any physical quantity is maximum or minimum, then its first derivative with respect to variable should be 0. Here we are not going to prove that whether the quantity is maximum or minimum. It is given that find out the ratio when the force is maximum. Though we can prove whether this force is maximum or minimum when we determine in what ratio the body is divided. For the time being, it is given that the force is maximum, or find the ratio when the force is maximum. So we will do the derivative of this physical quantity, means force, with respect to small m and equate it to 0. So we can find out the ratio of small m and capital M. So in order to differentiate this equation, we write this equation as G mm minus m square upon d square. So small m is taken inside the bracket. Now df, that is derivative of f with respect to m, is equal to g and d square are constant, so kept outside the box. Derivative of small m, that is m raised to 1, so 1, so capital M, minus derivative of m square is twice m. Now this derivative, according to this property, its first derivative with respect to variable should be 0. So we take this first derivative to be 0. So 0 is equal to this situation. Therefore, m minus twice m is equal to 0. Therefore, twice m is equal to capital M, or m upon capital M is equal to half. So the body should be divided exactly into the two halves so that the force is maximum. That is option number C here. So this is how, if any physical quantity is maximum or minimum, we find out in what ratio this body should be divided. So exactly the body should be divided into half, and when they are kept at a distance d, the force is maximum. Second question, if an object having mass √3 kg is moving with a velocity that is half the velocity of the light, then the inertial mass will be. So now here, a body having mass of √3 kg. Now see, we have Einstein equation where it says that mass and energy are inward convertible. So we can convert mass into energy or energy into the mass by the equation E is equal to mc square. So this is interconvertible. Mass can be converted into energy, energy can be converted into mass. We know that atom bomb possesses a large energy. So that energy or the mass of that atom bomb, when it is exploded, is converted into the energy. Also, according to Einstein, if any body move with a speed which is equal to the speed of light, its mass becomes infinite. It means if a body is moving and its speed is increasing continuously, then according to Einstein theory of relativity, its mass also keeps on increasing. That is beyond the neutron's mechanics. So in mechanics, we have studied the motion of an object which is moving with a speed less than the speed of light. But if a body move with a speed comparable to the speed of light, its mass will increase. And the equation is the mass of a body is equal to the rest mass, that is m naught. Rest mass means when the body is at rest, upon 1 minus v square upon c square, where v is the velocity of object. So this given is a rest mass, and this mass is called as, so we have to find out that this body is moving with a speed equal to half the speed of light. So what is its inertial mass? So how much what will be the mass of a body when it move with a speed which is equal to half the speed of the light? So here m is equal to m naught. This m naught is referred as the rest mass, that is when the body is at rest. Now it comes into motion, and here the speed of a body is comparable to the speed of light. So m is equal to m naught, that is √3 upon under root 1 minus v square, that is c square by 4. C square is cancelled, so 1 by 4. So this is equal to √3 upon 4 minus 1 root 3 under root 3 by 4. So that is equal to root 3 into 2 upon root 3. So m is equal to 2 kg. Clearly, the mass of the body increased when it moved with a speed equal to half the speed of light. Now similarly, you can see here, if v is equal to c, then equation becomes m is equal to m naught 1 upon 1 minus c square by c square, that is 1 minus 1, that is 0. So 0. So the mass becomes infinite. That is, the mass is increasing continuously if the body start moving with a speed which is comparable to the speed of light. So this mass in this MCQ is referred as an inertial mass. Now we have two mass, the inertial mass as well as the gravitational mass. So let us discuss the theory related to this inertial mass and the gravitational mass. Now here our answer is 2 kg, so it is option number A. Now inertial mass and we have a gravitational mass. See, inertial mass is nothing but it is simply F upon A. That is, the inertial mass is defined as the force applied to produce unit acceleration. This is force applied divided by acceleration. See, every body has inertia, means it opposes the change. It has a resistance. So, if I have to move a body, I have to apply the force. How much force is applied to produce an unit acceleration? You see the unit, we generally take mass as, or we generally write SI unit as kg. But from this equation, I can write the unit as Newton per meter square. So if I, Newton meter per second. So it is Newton per second square. So if I write a example, I take an example 5 Newton per meter per second square, then it means 5 Newton is applied to produce an acceleration of 1 meter per second square. So if there is a body on which I apply a 5 Newton force, its acceleration will be equal to 1 meter per second square. Then this is equivalent to our kg also. So it means the body is of 5 kg. So alternatively, we can use this formula. So inertial mass is defined as the force applied to produce unit acceleration. The force applied to produce unit acceleration means if I apply 5 Newton to this body, its acceleration becomes 1 meter per second square. So that will be referred as inertial mass, means it will oppose the change unless and until I apply 5 Newton force. This body will not move, and if after the application of 5 Newton, if it moves, the acceleration produced is 1 meter per second square. So if I apply 10 Newton, then the unit, then 10 Newton force will again produce 1 meter per second square acceleration. So the mass of that body becomes 10 kg. So it is simply inertial mass is defined as the force applied to produce unit acceleration. Now come to the gravitational mass. Now gravitational mass, say mg, is again equal to F upon g. Now this F is the weight of a body. This is the weight of a body upon acceleration due to gravity. So it is defined as the gravitational pull gravitational pull experienced by a body in a gravitational field of unit intensity. We will see that the intensity, we will discuss about the word intensity or gravitational intensity. So here, the gravitational mass is the weight of a body divided by acceleration due to gravity. Whatever whatever force is experienced by a body placed in the gravitational field. For example, if I place a body in the gravitational field of the earth, it will be attracted towards the center. So this force is directed towards the center. Gravitational force is directed towards the center of the source. That is, suppose I take an example of earth. So all the bodies experience a pull towards the center of the earth. So that gravitational pull experienced by a body in the gravitational field of unit intensity is called as the gravitational mass. So this is the difference. Here you apply a force to produce unit acceleration. The force will pull a body by its gravity. Both have a same unit. Second difference is it is not affected by the presence of another body. So if any another body is there near this body, this value will not be affected. So inertial mass is not affected by the presence of the other body near it. So it remains unaffected. Wherever the gravitational mass of the body is affected by the presence of other body. So it is affected by presence of other body. Suppose this is a body of mass small m and it is attracted by a earth, and if there is another body, say any other planet near the earth, then this body has a gravitational pull of both the body, that is both the source. So that is the second difference. It is not affected by the presence of the another body. Third, the inertial mass is measured by a device which is inertial balance. So we have a inertial balance by which the mass is determined, that is the inertial mass is determined, while the gravitational mass is determined by spring balance, because it is simply a gravitational pull. So the spring balance is simply nothing but a spring having the calibration here. So we have a calibration here and hook here. So if one body is attracted, this spring is elongated, and we can find out the gravitational mass, that is the force by which this body is attracted towards the center of the earth. So gravitational mass is determined by a spring balance. So this is the difference between the two terminology, inertial mass and the gravitational mass. Question number 3. What would be the angular speed of the earth so that the body lying on the equator may appear weightlessness? Small g and radius of the earth is given. So here the question is, what should be the angular speed of the earth? So we know that the value of g changes due to the rotation of the earth also. The earth is rotating about its own axis. Now the question is, what should be the angular speed? So any object lying on the equator is weightless, that is the weight is 0. Now the general formula, G is equal to GE minus, we have R omega square cos square lambda. So this was our formula where the earth was assumed to be rotating with the angular frequency or angular velocity omega, and lambda was the latitude of the place, r is the radius of the earth. This was our general formula. So due to the rotation of the earth also, the value of G decreases by this much value. Now we have to find out the omega. Now it is given that the body feel weightless. So first we find out the weight. So we have mg is equal to mge minus mr omega square cos square lambda, multiplying both sides by the mass of a object. Here this weight is called as a pseudo weight or an apparent weight. This apparent weight comes into picture due to the rotation of the earth, and this is the actual weight. This is the actual weight of a body if earth is not rotating. So this we have discussed in the last lecture. Now it is given that, so I can write the pseudo weight is equal to the real weight. Let us assume the real weight is WE, E for on the earth, mr omega square cos square lambda. Now it is given that the body feel weightlessness. It is given that the body feel weightlessness on the equator, and for the equator we have for an equator the lambda is 0. So for equator lambda is 0, and the body is feeling weightless. So the apparent weight or the pseudo weight should also be 0, or this acceleration should be 0. So using equation 1, we write G is equal to 0 because it is given that the body is weightless. Now weight formula is m into G. The weight will be 0 only if G is 0 because mass is a constant. So we have used equation 1 instead of equation 2. However, if you have to find out the apparent weight, you can use equation 2. So 0 is equal to GE minus r omega square cos square 0, that is 1. So this is the formula. Therefore, GE is equal to r omega square, and therefore omega can be written as under root GE upon r. Now it is given that GE is 10 meter per second square and the radius of the earth is 6400. So this becomes 10 upon 6400 kilometer into 10 raised to 3, that is meter. So you calculate this value and find out the correct option from this option given in the sheet. So you do this calculation yourself. This 0 0 is cancelled, so it can be easily done. This 0 is given to this, so it comes out, and 1 upon 64 can be written as 1 upon 8. This is 10 raised to 4. When it comes outside and taken in the numerator, it becomes 10 raised to minus 2. So that is 10 raised to minus 2 divided by 8. Now question number 4. The speed with which the earth have to rotate on its axis so that a person on the equator would weigh 3/5 as much as present will be. So that is what we are talking about. Equation number 2. The apparent weight was equal to the real weight minus mr omega square cos square lambda. This is a general formula. Now again it is given that for we know that for equator lambda is equal to 0, given the weight is 3/5 the real weight. So this is given. So in the place of W dash we will write 3/5 W, or you can write that is equal to mg dash is equal to 3/5 mg. So mm is again cancelled. So either we can use that equation of G where that is it fills a weightlessness. So G dash can be written as this. So again using this equation I can write G dash is equal to G minus m is eliminated, cos square lambda, that is cos 0 is equal to 1. So again I have to find out the omega. So therefore in the place of G dash we have 3/5 G is equal to G minus R omega square, and therefore R omega square is equal to G minus 3/5 G, that is equal to 2/5 G R omega square. Again omega is equal to under root 2/5 G upon omega. Now you substitute these values and find out the answer for this. MCQ number 5. On a planet whose size is same as that of Earth, so we have a planet whose size is same as that of Earth, so radius of the planet is equal to the radius of the Earth, and the mass is 4 times to that of Earth. So mass of the planet is 4 times the mass of the Earth. The energy required or needed to lift a 2 kg mass vertically upward through a distance 2 meter distance on the planet is, so we have to lift this body of 2 kg, that is mass is equal to 2 kg, to a height of 2 meter. So we know that if we lift a body to a height h, the potential energy is equal to mgh. Now on that planet the value of G will be different. We know the general formula. So gravity at planet is equal to G mass of planet upon the radius of planet square, and the gravity on the surface of the earth is G me upon re square. Therefore Gp upon Ge is equal to mp upon rp square me re square. Now it is given that the radius is same, so radius is cancelled. Mass of the planet is 4 times, so Gp is equal to 4 times the Ge. So the work done on the planet is equal to m Gp into h. So this can be written as, the mass given is 2 kg, Gp is 4 times the gravity of the earth into 2. So this is equal to 2 into 4 into 10. We take Ge as 10. So 2, 4 2s are 8, 8 2s are 16. 160 joule of work is required to be done to lift a body of 2 kg. So it is option number C. So this is all about we have for today's lecture. In the next lecture, we will again discuss the theory of gravitational field, gravitational intensity and gravitational potential. Then we will move forward, because from question 6 onwards we have the concept of the gravitational potential or escape velocity and the orbital velocity. So in the next lecture we will discuss about the gravitational field, intensity and the gravitational potential, and then we will continue with this MCQ. Have a nice day.